What does Italy need now? Last year it grew. This year it will grow less.
I think the big need is to have a completely hard change in terms of perspective, messages. The messages until now were messages anti-growth, anti-investments, anti-infrastructures. So I think the crucial point is to have a great change in the messages. And I don't know if this change can happen, but it is the crucial point.
But the message is what, to investors, or the message to the European Union?
Both.
Because if you look at
both.
BTP spreads, right, it was A, the fight with France, and 2, the fight with Brussels.
Yes, I know, but the key point is the fact that there's a big mistrust, lack of confidence, and the fact that the messages of the government were, for instance, in the last months against infrastructures, blocking investments, and that is not the right way to boost growth in Italy. We need not to think only to redistribution. The government was completely focused on redistribution, not on growth. And it's a huge problem because, yes, maybe we have to redistribute to help and to rebalance, but we need growth because Italy has zero growth.
Okay, but this is not a value judgment, but you have basically a government which is two parties that almost couldn't be further apart. Do we need early elections?
I think so. And I think we will have early elections because the agreement...
Will it change anything?
The elections will change very much because the agreement between the two parties is over. It is clear that they are fighting each moment on each topic, and everyone in Italy thinks that the day after the elections many things will change. I don't think this government can continue for years because the agreement is no more there. But I strongly believe that the situation is a red alarm in terms of economics. The next budget law will be impossible to be managed with the same tools of the previous one because the situation is over control.
Right, but the red alarms is also the huge unemployment, especially that the youth face.
The
How do you
youth
fix
and
that?
the South. The youth and South. You can have employment only if you have growth. It is impossible to redistribute not having in mind growth. And to have growth, you need investments, you need to attract investments, you need, of course, lower tax of interest. That is not the case today. You need to change the economic policy. So Italy needs a strong and big change in his economic policy.
Do you think Brexit will happen?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think Brexit is a disaster, is a nightmare. I hope the leaders will find an agreement, maybe a long-term postponement to allow the British people to think again to the consequences. But it is clear that it's in this general mess of the world, China, US, Turkey, Brexit is really, really a very bad news for all of us.
But Brexit was a signal, right, that people are fed up with something. Maybe they're fed up with the elite. Maybe they're fed up with London. They don't feel like they're part of something. And this is almost the vote we saw here in Europe. How do politicians regain that trust?
I think Brexit was also a problem of lies. Too many lies on Europe, frankly speaking. Europe is not the scapegoat of everything. And now maybe people are starting to think that Europe is not the image they had or their politicians gave to them. About confidence, I think confidence needs to be very, very accountable in implementing what we decided to do. For instance, migrations. Migration, it was the key problem for Brexit, for the Italian political situation, and the European countries didn't deliver on migration. So the big problem is, I hope next European elections will bring a new generation of leaders able to deliver.
Okay, but this is a concern, right? Is if you were to explain to a citizen in the UK, in France, in Spain, what Europe does for them, what would you say? Because it feels very far. It feels like it's Strasbourg and Brussels. They have these laws that no one understands, these decrees telling you how big your banana should be.
But for instance, I have two examples very clear. We are united so we can stop Trump's protectionism. And Trump protectionism means a disaster for our manufacturing industry. If we are divided, Trump protectionism will destroy...
So tariffs. It's easier to impose tariffs.
Second, very clear example, data protection. On our cell phones, there's our second identity. We, the Europeans, we will protect, and we won't protect our data and our second identity. Frankly speaking, I don't see the American way of life there or the Chinese way of dealing with this system in the same way. So, European Union, a strong European Union means protection for our data, so our second identity is a second very small example. Third example, environment. As Europeans, a strong idea for environment against climate change is the good one. I don't think Trump or the Chinese have the similar good ideas. So I made 3 examples where the European Union is better than the US and China.
But how does that improve the life of the common person?
Of course, common person can be completely destroyed by a protectionist approach in the US. People working in our manufacturing industries in Germany or in Italy, or tariffs in our country on goods, environment, all this youth. With a fantastic positive protest movement, I think they know very well that the European Union is doing well, is doing better on environment than Trump and than the Chinese.